Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday, January 12th at 7:15 p.m. and I will call to order this meeting of the Committee of the Whole of the Aberdeen City Council. Our first order of business is a roll call, but before we do that, I just want to make sure and welcome the new faces on our Zoom call. Welcome, everybody, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Can we call the roll?
Yes, thank you. So I'll just call your name if you could unmute and let us know you're here. We'll start with Obi.
Here.
Ellis. Here. Francie.
Here.
Kochman.
Here.
Lawrence.
Here.
Mackey.
Here.
Meskis.
Present.
Morrison.
Present.
Percini.
Present.
Ross.
Here.
Shaw.
Here.
Taylor.
Here.
Shave.
Here.
Thank you.
We don't have any guest speakers tonight, so we'll move to item C and ask our department heads to fill us in on anything they want to share with us that might not be on the agenda. Our first department head is Lisa Scott, Community Development. Is Lisa on the call? Oops, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't tell her.
Lisa
tell her I
Scott
called.
is ill.
I'm sorry to hear that. Don't tell her I called on her and when she wasn't here, okay? Next would be our interim corporation counsel on behalf of the legal department and the courts, Mr. Myers.
Good evening. I have nothing substantive to report yet. I know that we are talking to another law firm about maybe taking over the role of interim corporation counsel. That hasn't been finalized yet, but hopefully shortly, and I'll defer to the mayor to add in further details.
Thank you. I'll just share with the council that we will be bringing that to you as an add-on from Finance Committee Chair Cashman. We went through that in detail in finance, and it'll be coming to you with our comfort. Next will be our finance director, Patricia Soul.
Thank you. Finance Committee met at 6 p.m. tonight, and I will defer comments to our chairperson, Katie Cashman. Thank you.
Thank you. Our fire chief, Tom Hubbard.
Good evening, Tom Hubbard, Fire Chief, Aberdeen Fire Department. Public Safety met at 6:30 tonight. Councilperson Taylor was in attendance with Chief Shoemate and Mayor Shave. I will, to assist Councilperson Taylor, we do have one agenda item that he will bring forward, but I will be referring to the notes that we sent out. This Saturday, January 15th at 1 p.m. we will be having a full memorial service, full honors for engineer paramedic Chad Mittleiter, who passed away on December 2nd. That is at the Aberdeen Gymnasium at 1 p.m. The public is invited. COVID precautions will be in place. If you are planning to attend, we ask that you arrive either prior to 11:30 or at 12:30. At 12 noon, the procession will arrive, and we will to provide the highest honors to Chad and his family. The area will be locked down at that time for his arrival. We encourage you to attend. If you're unable to attend, the Aberdeen Local Firefighters Facebook page will be live streaming it on Facebook. And that's as much as I know about that, because I read it, because I don't know Facebook. But that would be a way for you to attend. It'll be a very emotional day for the fire department. Know that about 35 to 40 people have been working very diligently for 2 weeks to put this service together. Actually, we've been working for a month, but the last 2 weeks have ramped up. We will have agencies from Thurston County and various local agencies providing full coverage for our members so that they can attend and provide honors and respect to Chad. So we're very grateful to them. The other add-on I wanted to say is Grays Harbor County Emergency Management has put links up on their page for damage assessments for the recent flooding. If we encourage property owners, if they had flooding to residences or commercial properties, to go to those links. If they have questions, they can call emergency management and they will help them. But if we capture any damages, that will assist us in rolling up costs for the whole county, and then possibly meet thresholds for state or federal dollars if we achieve that. My last point on the flooding is last week and into this week, we held what we called a virtual emergency operations center between Aberdeen Public Works, Police and Fire, and the City of Hoquiam Public Works, Police and Fire, and Grays Harbor Emergency Management. We held that couple of days. We did it twice, but at least daily, and we got a briefing from both cities on status of public works and flood control and flood damage and police and fire impacts, and it was very beneficial for everybody to get situational awareness and then emergency management to weigh in on what they were seeing countywide and our needs, wants, and desires. So that was an awesome process we put in place, and we'll do that again should we need that. And that is all I have, unless there's questions.
No, thank you. Anyone have questions for our fire chief? Seeing none. Mara, you have anything to report from Human Resources?
I'm just gonna say the new Human Resources Director will be on duty Monday, January 24th. Christy has been in there as the Human Resources Technician, and she's been doing a great job keeping things going, trying to do it all and doing a great job of it. So we're looking forward to Danny Smith coming on board on the 24th.
And that item, I believe, is on the agenda for later.
Yep.
Does anyone have questions for the mayor? Thank you. Our Parks Director, Stacy Barnum. Welcome.
Well, thank you. I'm going to share my screen. I don't have anything on the agenda tonight, which is unusual, but we do have a lot of projects in process. Still working with Vintage Vehicle Restoration on negotiations on the contract for the fire apparatus restoration. Once we have a final contract, that will be brought to you, the council, for approval. We've started the Little League Field remodel project, sent out the request for bids for the fencing. Those are due to me the 19th, so that we can hopefully have the contract on the agenda for your approval on January 26th. As a reminder, all of that project is paid for by an RCO grant and also a grant we received from the Grays Harbor Community Foundation. We are moving on the building purchase for the museum warehouse, the 118 West Wishkaw Street. We've moved the closing date to the end of the month. We're working on a lease agreement with the Salvation Army. They would like to stay as tenants in a portion of the first floor of the building for the next 12 months. So we've sent a draft contract to Salvation Army, and they're reviewing it now. Once we have an agreed upon contract, we will be bringing that to you, the council, also at the January 26th City Council meeting. The RV Park Committee met with RWD Landscaping on January 10th to go over the RV park design that Bob Droll had put together. We received a lot of good comments from the committee, and so he's making those changes, and we'll have a final design hopefully by the end of this week. And once the design is complete, then RWD can put together the construction cost estimates. And of course, once we have a final design, I'll be sure to get that out to the full city council. Oh, I didn't do this in slideshow. I'm sorry. That's better, right? Okay, my next slide. I want to make sure, because it's not on the agenda, that everybody knows that the Board of Museum and History at their next board meeting, they're holding a strategic planning session. That's on Tuesday, February 1st at 7:30 p.m. via Zoom. I will have the meeting information and also information on how you can provide public comment on our city website at aberdeenwa.gov. If you go to the museum board page, you'll find the information on the strategic planning session. The public is encouraged to attend. I know that the museum board and Mayor Shave are all very interested in hearing from the community about the community's museum and what that will look like in the future. You can also email public comment to me at my email address, which is here on the screen at sbarnum@aberdeenwa.gov. And I will be sure to read any emailed public comments into the record. We plan to record this meeting so that I can be sure to capture all of the public comments in full detail. And that's all that I have.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Director Barnum? Is that your cat, Joshua, or you? Did you have a question? Okay. Seeing no one else, I had a quick question. Is the museum board also planning, since it's if they're taking public comment, written comment, is there a way for people to sign up and get 2 or 3 minutes like we do at council meetings if they sign up in advance to speak?
That's a good question. That is a detail I'm working out with Chair John Shaw right now. We may have people request in advance to speak, or we're working on possibly an opportunity for participants to raise their hand. And then, yes, we would have a limited amount of time just so we can keep the meeting on schedule and also give everyone an opportunity to provide input. So,
okay.
Yes.
Because I think there's probably people in the museum crowd who are more comfortable sharing their thoughts and would feel more heard if they could vocalize them. So that would be great.
Yep, I agree.
Great, thank you. Anyone
Thanks.
else? Police Chief Steve Shoemate.
Thank you, Council President Shaw, and I too welcome the new council members to the 2022 City Council. As Chief Hubbard made mention, Public Safety did meet earlier this evening with our one and only surviving member, Council Member Taylor. And so just a few things I'll touch on. Number one, a little bit more on what Chief Hubbard made mention as far as the incident management team that was the virtual one put together for the flooding. In addition to our normal call load for the police department, we certainly were very busy, not only with the snow related events, but the flooding that had transpired, and we really were inundated with a lot of calls and the frustration with individuals, particularly larger vehicles driving past signs in some cases and driving in flooded areas, which of course creates waves, potentially creating more hazards or damage to our citizens. So I'm glad that the waters have receded, but we do have, and we're monitoring another king tide event that is scheduled to hit our area on, I believe it's the 31st of this month. So we're hoping that the rains don't coincide with that king tide event, of course. And then real quickly, just on personnel, we have vacancies in all 3 divisions. We recently requested applications for our police services officer position because we don't have a valid test. We did get 7, I believe, altogether. And so once hopefully the new HR director is on board, then we'll look at conducting the tests for those applicants. Tomorrow we will be interviewing 2 new entry-level applicants for entry-level police officers. So hopefully there will be 1, if not 2, that will be worthy to move forward in the background process. We still have the opening in the support division. And with that, we have Sergeant Ross Lamke has announced his retirement effective at the end of the month. It is expected, though, that Sergeant Lamke is going to succeed Supervisor Wayne Schmidt, who is going to be retiring in March. So 2 very tenured individuals, but at least we will be keeping the skill set of Sergeant Lamke, who will be replacing a much deserved retirement, but we hate to see him go because he does so many things for us. So with that, I'm available for or open to any questions.
anyone have questions for the police chief? Seeing none.
Thank you.
Next was our Public Works Director, Rick Sanger.
Good evening. Public Works met yesterday at 4 o'clock. I think we only have 2 items on the agenda, light. I'll leave those both for Tiesa to bring up. If anybody has any questions, I'm available as always. One comment I would like to make is the storm and the runoff and the high tides really hit us hard last week. We made it through it, but I think this is a really good time to think about the reasoning for this levee and the pump systems that we have that we've been working so hard on for the last 4 years. If those were two very different events, we had the high tide riverine flood and we had the lack of conveyance and lack of pumping the few days later. If those had hit at the same time, we would have had 2 feet of water in downtown. So 2 very different flood events, causes from 2 different sources. So it doesn't seem like we were lucky, but we really were that they didn't happen at the same time. So I don't know if anybody noticed, but the areas that flooded there on Monday from the river, those areas were not flooded 2 days later when everything else was underwater from conveyance. So anyway, if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Just for clarification, when you say conveyance, you mean runoff and snow melt?
Yeah, rainfall, snow melt, runoff that goes, our system's a gravity system, goes to the river. When we have high tides, we can't take as much at the river through gravity because, just based on hydraulic grade. So yeah, the first storm was a riverine, which all that is there was a high tide that we ended up with a 2-foot holdover. So we ended up with I've been at the city for 23 years, and that was the highest tide I've seen in 23 years. And that was a 14.58, and that was without any rainfall. So if that would have happened a few days later, like I said, it wouldn't catastrophic, honestly. It would have been, hopefully we can get the levee built and the pumps, retrofitted and put in before we ever see another event like this. And there's a good chance we will, because really we had a 100-year storm for rainfall. We had 8 inches of rainfall in the last I had seen it, we had 8 inches of rainfall in 48 hours. But I know in Ocean Shores, they had 7.5 inches of rainfall in 24 hours based on, picking the right 24 hours. And we would have been about the same thing. We would have had a big 7 or 8 inches of rainfall in 24 hours. So, and then to match it up, we already have 15.5 inches of rainfall in January. So,
Wow.
I mean, a 3.75 to 4 inches of rainfall is like a 20-year storm. Shouldn't happen more than once every 20 years. So you can see the problem.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions for Director Sanger? Seeing none, I will move to the mayor's report. Do you have anything for us tonight, Mayor?
Briefly, Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to the first meeting in 2022. I'm telling you, it's just starting my 3rd year, and it's all been COVID. So I'm sick of it. COVID, go away, I declare. Welcome all the new council members. It's awesome to see all your smiley faces. We have a lot ahead of us for the next year, and we're going to make some good positive accomplishments, I'm sure. Another thing I'll bring up is next council meeting. Usually this is all dealt with by the council president. So next council meeting, Derek Kilmer wants to be here and visit with us through the committee of the whole meeting or part of it. So we can look forward to that. And lastly, Josh, your cat is very distracting. Can you give it some catnip and put it in its cat box or something. Its cat bed. Appreciate it. Thank you. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll move on to anybody have any questions for the mayor? We'll move on to non-standing committee reports, and each council member will have some time to share what they've been doing that's not on the agenda, but in support of our work. First, welcome Marissa Obi. Is that correct? Is that how to say it?
Obi.
Obi. Well, thank you. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry. I'm used to it. And thank you. Happy to be here.
Councilmember Liz Ellis.
Thank you. I was able to go out Thursday during the flood and help people fill sandbags and talk with some of my constituents who were dealing with some of the high water. And I just wanted to acknowledge the city crews who worked long days, many long days, and all kinds of weather. Talk about rain, snow, sleet, hail. We got the works during that time. And I truly appreciate all that they did and that they were there to support citizens' own efforts to prevent flooding. There was a lot of volunteers helping, and it was Aberdeen's best out there, people helping each other. And I'm glad we came through without this event being worse. And then I've been looking over some of the AWC classes that are coming up, and it looks like there's some good ones both there and with the MRSC, and wanted to encourage my new council member mates to look into those. They're super helpful and a good way to get up to speed on things. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Francie.
I got nothing to report. I'm just recovering from COVID.
Okay, well, we do need to know what the cat's name is now that the cat's been brought into the discussion.
Her name is Shira.
Well, Shira, it was nice knowing you, but I'm sorry you've been banned. Councilmember Cashman.
Good evening. I do not have anything to report right now.
Councilmember Lawrence, welcome. Do you have anything to share tonight?
It's good to be here. I know it's been a bad start of the year so far. I lost a good friend out North River with the flood. I just hope that we can do something in this city to make it better. That's about it.
Thank you. Councilmember Mackey.
You're muted, John.
There, is that any better?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Just here spacing out, listening to everybody. I have nothing really to further on this for this evening, but I would like to welcome the new council members. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Meskis.
Thank you. I have nothing to report tonight.
Thank you. Councilmember Morrison, welcome.
Hi, I don't have anything to report, but I would like to say that I'm very grateful to be here representing the citizens of Ward 1. Thank you.
Great. Councilmember Piercini. Did I say it right? Please help us all. I think you're muted. There you go.
Oh, there we go. It's Paracini.
Paracini, okay.
And I'm just honored to be here and have nothing to report.
Well, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Ross.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the new council members. I did attend the Downtown Opportunity Association committee meeting last week, and we delved into our goals for the upcoming year. It was very exciting. So you'll be hearing more about that as we move forward. Thank you.
Councilmember Taylor.
I have nothing to report, but welcome all new council members.
Okay, and I had a, before we adjourn, I had a couple things to share. I've heard back from everybody. I emailed all council members, including the new members, an opportunity to express your wishes on a committee assignment for the coming year. So if you've not returned or indicated what your preferred assignment would be, you just get the luck of the draw, because that committee will be meeting after we decide who's on it tonight. The other thing that I want to make sure everybody knows is that we are going out again. If former council member Andrews was here, she would make sure we're all reminded that we're going out again in February for the fire authority. That's another priority that we have established with Hoquiam. If you have any questions about that, our fire department union has been taking an excellent lead role on that, and I'm sure Chief Hubbard can steer you in the right direction if you want to assist in their efforts in any way. And those were the two main things that I wanted to bring up. If nobody else has anything else, I will adjourn the committee of the whole and turn it over to the mayor.
Thank you, Council President Shaw. This is Mayor Shave, and it's Wednesday, January 12th, 2022 at 7:41, and I call the Aberdeen City Council meeting to order. Public comments and public hearing comments are included during the Zoom video meetings. The public was notified that if they wish to speak during the meeting, an email be sent to the city clerk at aberdeenwa.gov and indicate if they would like to speak or have the clerk read the comment. If they desire to comment live, they will be called on during the meeting and allowed to speak for 3 minutes. All written comments that have been sent in have been provided to the city council members. Deputy City Clerk, will you please take roll call?
Yes. Obi. I'll have to unmute and announce that you're here.
I apologize. I'm here.
That's okay. Thank you. Ellis.
Yes, hello.
Francie.
Here.
Kochman.
Here.
Lawrence.
Here.
Mackey.
Here.
Meskis.
Present.
Morrison.
Present.
Faracini.
Here.
Ross.
Here.
Shaw.
Here.
Taylor.
Here.
Shave.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Mayor Shave,
Council President Shaw.
I move that we approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Mayor Shave,
Councilmember Catchman.
I have an addition for finance. It would be a report from finance and the finance committee recommending that the mayor contract with Kenyon Dyson PLLC for legal services with Hillary J. Evans as interim corporate counsel. I move that we would add this to the agenda tonight.
Thank you. Motion. Oh, thank you. Motion was made and seconded to add this item to the finance agenda. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. One other item we're going to add to the agenda under special agenda items is a proclamation of emergency. And I'll accept the motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Motion was made and seconded to add this item to the special agenda items. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. This item will be added under special agenda items. Okay, moving on to public comments. Deputy City Clerk, do you have any public comments to report?
We have no public comments tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to Finance Department, Committee Chair Catchman.
Good evening again. Finance met tonight via Zoom at 6 p.m. It was a light agenda, so we did take some time to discuss the interim corporation counsel needs. The city is still actively recruiting a new corporation counsel. However, there is an ongoing need for legal support during this time period. It is expected that the fees associated with the report that I'm bringing forward in the agreement will not exceed the amount budgeted for 2022. With that, I will move into our agenda items. The first of all, we'll start with expenditures and payroll, and I move that we approve.
I second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the expenditures and payroll. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote, please.
A motion to approve accounts payable in the total amount of $1,343,725.16 and payroll in the total amount of $801,649.15. Check numbers 25379 and 75833 through 75987. Wires 1298 through 1306 and 1308 through 1309. Roll call vote of yes or no to approve these expenditures. Obi,
Aye. I mean, yes.
that works too. Ellis,
Yes.
Francie,
Yes.
Kochman,
Yes.
Lawrence,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
Meskis,
Yes.
Morrison,
Yes.
Percini,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
Motion approved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
And the last item on our agenda is the report that we added, which is a report from Finance and the Finance Committee recommending that the mayor contract with Kenyon Dyson PLLC for legal services with Hillary J. Evans as interim corporate counsel. I move that we adopt this report.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is made and seconded to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Under discussion, I would like to say thank you very much for the service you've provided, Jeff, during this time. You know, we never realized just how tough that was going to be for you. I know you have lots of duties that you take care of, and the city of Aberdeen really kept you hopping. So I appreciate it a ton. There's no question of that.
Well, I just want to say it's been a privilege to have assisted the city. I know when Patrice left, I certainly didn't want to have the city be left in the lurch, and finding a permanent corporation counsel is a struggle in COVID times, and I'm sure you will find the right person. But in the meantime, I've worked with Mike Kenyon for a long time and have worked with that firm. Their reputation in terms of legal ability is impeccable, and their ethical standards are the highest in our industry. They are municipal specialists, and I most highly recommend them. I wish I had on my plate more time, but it just got to be a little more than I could continue to handle. And so I have appreciated working with all of you, and I look forward to seeing continued success for the city in the future. I'm sure Hillary will get you there.
Thank you, Jeff. Is there any other discussion from anyone? Council President Shaw.
So this was a question for our finance chair, Cashman. Since we, do we need to amend the contract that went out? We talked about some amendments to the contract. Do we need to offer those amendments to what went out to the council?
You know, that might not be a bad idea here. I'm trying to think of the most expeditious way to do that now. Okay, give me one moment here. Do you have them handy, Deanne?
If you like, I can go through my notes that I had, and because that's exactly what we talked about.
Deanne, did you get an amended proclamation, or I mean, an amended contract?
Yes, and it lines up with the notes I made from our meeting, and I'm happy to.
Okay.
I'm happy to read those out.
Please.
So in our discussion, council, on the contract that went out to you, we discussed amending. I'm going to make this as a motion. I move that we would amend section 4, line 3 to add the phrase "or requested by the council." And section 4, item 3, we recommend changing city manager to city administrator. Under section 4, item 4, we recommend adding the phrase "or the council." Under section 4, November 1 is changed to October 1. And that I believe is the amendments.
Is there a second? Okay, thank you. There's a motion to amend the motion. And it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, voting on the amendment, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The motion has been amended. Now we'll.
Mayor, for the council's, just for the council's information, these changes were made with, in consultation with our new corporation counsel. Hillary made those changes for us and agreed to them, just so you know. Thank you.
Okay, so now I'll entertain a motion to approve the amended, the item as amended.
I so move.
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded to approve the amended item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The item is passed.
And that is all from finance tonight.
Thank you very much. Public Works Committee Chair Meskis.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Public Works met yesterday via Zoom a little after 4. It took me a minute to realize that Frank Gordon was no longer with us, and so we got about a minute late start. We discussed our agenda items and also the recent flooding. One of the things that Director Sanger brought up to us was one of the large causes of some of the flooding was the amount of debris in some of the areas where water was able to accumulate rather than go down the drain where it was supposed to be. He even mentioned one area they found a chain link fence that somebody had just thrown into the alley or into the path of where the water was supposed to drain to. So we have to be really careful. We can't just dump our garbage willy-nilly, wherever. So if you have stuff to dump, get it to the dump. Not places where it's just going to gather stuff and cause a lot of issues for other people. We also discussed the fact that this was a very unique, actually two very unique events, as Director Sanger said earlier. So we're very lucky that they did not happen together. And once again, just a reason why we really need to see this levee get built, and also really beef up our pumping stations so that they can keep us dry when this crazy weather happens. Anyhow, moving on to our reports. First, we have a report from Public Works and the Public Works Director recommending that the City Council shall authorize the mayor to sign the agreement number WQSWCAP-2123-ABERPW-00139 with the State of Washington Department of Ecology to receive funding from the 2021 to 2023 Biennial Stormwater Capacity Grant. I move we accept this report.
Their second.
Francie, second.
Thank you. Motion was made and seconded to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
And last report, we have a report from Public Works and the Public Works Director recommending that the mayor shall be authorized to sign an agreement with Miller, Smith and Lossley Sheet Metal Inc. for $35,723.70 for construction of new ductwork for pump stations 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9 and Stafford Creek Correction Center. I move we accept this report.
Second, Ellis.
Thank you. Motion was made and seconded to accept this report. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Meskis.
Under discussion, I would like to make a motion to amend the report and change the year portion that the date of the date that the quotes were received from 2020 to 2021. It was just a slight typo.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. The motion was made and seconded to amend the report. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The report is amended.
Mayor, I move that we accept the report as amended.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is made and seconded to adopt the report as amended. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
And that is all from Public Works.
Thank you very much. Now we'll move on to public safety. And Councilmember Taylor was the only representative available to be there on that committee. So you are it, my man. You're muted. Councilmember Taylor, you're muted.
There we go.
There you go.
Oh, met tonight at 6:30. I'm pulling up the thing right here right now. So a request to authorization for Mayor Shave to execute the memorandum of understanding between the city of Aberdeen and the city of Cosmopolis regarding the provision of emergency fire protection. I moved that we adopt this or move it or whatever it is.
Move to adopt.
Move to adopt.
Motion was made and seconded, move to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Councilmember Shaw had her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you. Go ahead, Councilmember.
It wasn't really related to business. It was just on behalf of the council, just as really a standing ovation to our fire chief. We've got the best one in the whole county, and it's just, we're serving 3 cities now, and we're just very, very fortunate to be so well served. So thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
And your
This-
team.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
this report is until what was it say on there? I don't have it right in front of me, the 15th or the 14th. It's a 14 days, something like that. Okay. Any other discussion? Oh, go ahead, Chief.
Well, I just, Council President Shaw, thank you for those very kind words. I just wanted, without reading the whole document, I just wanted to highlight that if you vote to ratify it, that it was effective January 1st, shall terminate on January 14th, which is this Friday. An extension of the MOU is possible by written agreement by both mayors with a no event shall it extend beyond February 15th. So as of right now, it'll terminate this Friday unless Mayor Polly reaches out to Mayor Shave. So I just wanted to add that to make sure you saw that in the language.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of this report, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. The report is adopted.
Thank you guys for sitting through that. It was my first time.
Good job, Council Member Taylor.
Okay, moving on to special agenda items. Council President Shaw.
Mayor, under reports and communications, we have a special agenda item. We have a report from personnel recommending that the council adopt the recommended hiring of Danny Smith as the Human Resources Director, effective immediately, although I understood it to be January 24th.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Mayor, under ordinances, we have the third reading and adoption. Oh, shoot. Sorry, got a little bit of a glitch there. The third reading and adoption of Bill 2113, an ordinance redistricting the wards of the city of Aberdeen based on population information from the most recent federal decennial census, replacing chapter 16.12 and ordinances 3472, 3742, 4844, 4934, 5099, 5589, 5590, 6026, 6332, 6519, and amending chapter 1.06 to the Aberdeen Municipal Code. I move that we place this bill, we adopt this bill in final passage.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded, and a good job of it as well. To approve this bill, put it in final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say,
Do a roll call vote.
roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote of passing final bill number 21-13. Obi,
Aye.
Ellis,
Yes.
Francie,
Yes.
Kochman,
Yes.
Lawrence,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
Meskis,
Yes.
Morrison,
Yes.
Pertini,
Yes.
Ross.
Yeah.
Shaw,
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
That's 12-0, Mr. Mayor. That will be ordinance number 6680.
Thank you. The last item for a special agenda is a proclamation of emergency. Last Friday, January 7th, I declared an emergency, whereas king tides and heavy rainfall, combined snow melt, all these things resulting in soil saturation, produced the conditions that could have had very difficult results. And so we declared emergency so that we were ready for these things. We worked with the school board and to help us provide emergency shelter in case there was a disastrous situation where people were needed to be evacuated. And so I declared this emergency, and I would entertain a motion to ratify it.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made and seconded to approve the proclamation of emergency. Is there any discussion?
Thank you to all the city crew for the enormous amount of work that had to have taken place. I work for the school district and it's hard. So thank you for all the work.
Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. And that brings us down to the election of a city council president.
Mayor Shea,
Yes,
I would like to nominate Deborah Ross.
okay,
I would like to nominate Katie Kochman.
okay, let me get. Any other nominations? Hearing none. The way we usually do this is just call a roll call and you announce your vote. So Katie Kochman is nominated and Debbie Ross is nominated for council president. Deputy City Clerk, will you read the roll call for this vote, please?
Yes, we will do a roll call vote for Council President Ross or Kochman. Please state the name of which you're voting for. Obi?
Katie Kochman.
Ellis?
Ross,
Francie?
Kochman.
Kochman?
You can vote for yourself if you want to.
Catchman.
Catchman.
Been done many times before.
Lawrence?
Kochman.
Mackey?
Ross,
Meskis?
Ross.
Morrison?
Katie Catchman,
Pericini?
Katie Catchman.
Ross?
Ross.
You cut off, just confirming Ross.
You did.
That's correct.
Thank you. Shaw?
Ross,
Taylor?
Kochman.
That's 7-5, Mr. Mayor, in favor of Kochman.
Thank you. So, Deanne, you've been council president for 2 years. And what a job it's been. It's just amazing. You think back of the last 2 years and what we've gone through with COVID and homeless issues and all these things, and procedures, policy procedures. I mentioned that because Deanne was always our watchdog. So we really appreciate your service as council president. Thank you very much. So moving on, Katie, you are now in the hot seat. Appreciate you accepting that. The next item we'll be looking at tonight is electing somebody from the council to join with the new council president, the past council president, to figure out who's going to be on what city committee. So that's the next issue, to nominate a council member to work with them on that issue.
I nominate Deborah Ross.
Okay.
I
Any other
nominate John Mackey.
Okay. Any other nominations?
I nominate myself.
Okay. Is there any other nominations? Seeing none, Deputy City Clerk, will you do another roll call so council members can give their vote to either John or Liz or Debbie?
Yes, roll call vote for Ross, Mackey, or Ellis. Obi,
Ross,
Ellis,
Ellis,
Francie,
Ross,
Kochman,
Mackey,
Lawrence,
Mackey,
Mackey,
Ross,
Meskis,
Mackey,
Morrison,
Mackey,
Berrettini,
Mackey,
Ross,
Ross,
Shaw,
Ross,
Taylor.
Mackey.
That is 6 for Mackey, 5 for Ross, and 1 for Ellis, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. So that means now we need to decide if we're going to adjourn, and other than John and Deanne and Katie.
We do have a separate Zoom created for the 3 of them, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so.
And I just sent the email to everyone. So Dan has the email, and both Councilmember Ross and Councilmember Kochman both were sent the email 2 seconds ago.
it should be Mackey.
I'm sorry, Mackey, and yes, I did Mackey, sorry.
So for the new council members, what happens is when the world is Zoom, it used to be we would report back at go off and come back in a few, and people would wait and would share out what the committee assignments were. But in this case, the committee has a Zoom to meet in, and we will report out via email what the assignments are, and we'll finalize them at our next meeting.
Great, thank you. Sounds perfect. Anything else from the council for council comment period? The council member Meskis.
thank you very much. And thank you for not forgetting council member comments. So last year, my mother turned 70, which is a pretty big milestone. And she is also a survivor of multiple cancers. And I got to go visit her for her birthday. And one of the things we determined is she's needing a lot more help than what she has. So during that visit, we made the very difficult decision that we are actually going to be moving to California in the coming months, which means I will not be eligible to hold my city council position. That said, at the end of this meeting, I will be officially resigning my position from city council. It has been my pleasure to serve, and I do hope that the rest of the city council really uses good judgment in making decisions to move our city forward. In just a few seconds, you're all going to get an email from me with kind of a goodbye letter. Nothing too crazy, just me laying out a couple of things there. Not too much else to say. This has been a really tough time, a lot of planning going into it and letting certain people know, and then just deciding when to make it happen. And this felt like the right meeting to do it at, because we're gonna have new committee chairs and new committees and everything else. So that is it from me. Thank you very much.
Wow. I just heard the dun-dun-dun, because I don't know how anybody can top that. That's a bit of a surprise to me, but mostly I would like to say, I hope your mom is going to do well. And I'm sure she'll be a lot better for you coming down there. And lastly, I want to say that 70 being a big milestone, I resemble that remark, Buster. So thank you for your service to the city, and we appreciate all that you've done and been involved in, serving quite a long time on the Public Works Committee. It's been a big help. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Anybody else have anything for comment period? Debbie Ross?
Well, it's a pretty quiet night, I guess, so I move we adjourn.
Mr. Lawrence does have his hand up. I'm not sure if everyone can see that.
Oh, I can't.
I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
did not see.
Nope, no problem.
Oh, there.
I just want to thank you for your service, and I hope your mom's okay. And God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you. Last chance, anyone else? Councilmember Ellis.
Thank you. As a relative newcomer to council, it was just an absolute pleasure to serve on the Public Works Committee under Chairperson Meskis. And you've shown that you are committed to Robert's Rules of Order, and your knowledge of process and procedure has been really helpful. And I think we're going to miss your expertise in many areas. And I truly wish you the best with the move and the next steps of your life.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, there was a motion. There was a motion by Councilmember Ross. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion was made and seconded. If there's no objection, I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Good
night, everybody.
Night.
See you on
Go
the
to your
20th.
email. John, go to your email. Okay.
Good night.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Thanks, Piessa.